Hello again, my fair students of life. It's Alex Wilson, the dropout professor, back again with another little video for you. This one's a little bit of a confessional, less of a lesson. I feel as though I've picked quite a bouquet of whoopsie daisies. If you haven't already watched it, I'm not going to ask you to, but that quantum theory video, it doesn't have a ton of views, but I do feel as though that was a psychological, theological misstep. Whoops. I don't want to create more confusion and dissonance than already exists. That's certainly not what the goal of that was. I want to bring clarity. I want to bring understanding and understanding to the cosmological problem with which we're faced as human beings on planet Earth with all these religions and all this crazy stuff. Coming up with that idea helped me a little bit, brought me towards a little more peace in terms of our place in the universe and all this kind of stuff. But I think it's also kind of selfish if I am like, yeah, this helped me, but I don't have any care for the implications that it has for anyone else. And it's also kind of prideful. It's also kind of hubristic to think that little old me could supplant the grace of God through Christ in my dumb little videos, and I'm not trying to do that. That's not the goal. I really, I don't know what the truth is. I don't. And I believe in God. I believe that we need salvation. But I also understand all too well from my own experience, from the arguments and books I've read, just how difficult to unpack that can be, and it's not simple as a lot of the religious crowd accepts it as, and it can be really hard to just go, oh, well, now I get it, and thank you, Christians, for laying down the law. So here's the thing. I love some people who are Muslim and brown sugar bacon. I love Hindus and cheeseburgers and cows. I love Buddhists and having a beer too with the bros. I love Jesus and I love smoking a blunt. I don't think that's wrong or bad of me, any of these things, intrinsically. But I also know all too well that we tend not to be the best judges of our own lesser behaviors and habits. The heart is deceitful above all things, right? As I mentioned in that video, it deeply bothered me as a child raised in the church that this eternity of hellfire and suffering was awaiting everyone who was not a believer in Jesus Christ. Ooh, that seems wildly unfair, wildly unjust, and not really cohesive with the idea of a perfect, just, loving God. I still find myself somewhat reluctant to call myself a Christian universalist. If you're not familiar, that's basically the doctrinal thought that eventually all souls, all people will be reconciled to God with Christ. At the same time, that does seem more accurate to how I feel about things than just calling myself blanket label Christian and letting people draw their own conclusions from that, because that is can go a lot of ways. While I don't think truth necessarily has to be palatable, universalism is a lot more palatable to me than, the alternative of like, oh, St. Peter, welcome to heaven. Oh, sorry about, your best friend or your sibling. They didn't get it, so you're in, but they're not. Like that. I can't really square that. There's so much information out there, and we have such a constant influx of it with technology, news, your phone notifications. There's all these things, bing, 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 coming at you all the time. And I'm not, saying learning's bad by any stretch. I'm not saying getting more information is not a good thing. But the way things have gone in my life, I certainly have days where I'm like, okay, that's enough information, that's enough lessons. I would like to be done with that. I would like to just be chilling and not have to worry about any of that. And then life come back around with some, oh, you thought you were just gonna sit back and enjoy stuff? Lessons, 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 lessons. And it's like, I don't want any more. Which is part of the reason as well that the prospect of eternal life seemed a little bit daunting, and still does. The promise of eternal life versus eternal death, neither option particularly appeals to me with my understanding of either. If it's just I don't wake up tomorrow, that's honestly preferable to a continuum of this as I know life to be. And I'm not saying life sucks. I'm not saying I'm suicidal, but it certainly ain't all peaches and cream. But anyway, I do hope that despite all the craziness out there, you do find some peace in this world, that you find some peace in the next life. Please do all that YouTube-y stuff. If you've enjoyed this video, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll hit you with another one sooner or later. Peace.